Welcome to Iris Estate. I'm so excited to introduce you a farm we've started in 2017. But first of all, I'd love you to mention the few key people that made this dream come true. First of all, Jamison Savage, my great friend that I've met in 2015. Together we have introduced carbonic maceration process and spread it throughout the world. We've decided to start this project in 2016, and finally in 2017 is when everything started. We've also asked a really good friend distributor of Project Origin coffees in Malaysia, Elvin. Now, Elvin has played a crucial role in supporting us with the vision and helping us to make our dreams happen. And of course, the final team member is myself. So the reason why we've started Iris Estate with Jamison and Elvin is because for so many years, Jamison and myself, we have been collaborating and innovating with different processing techniques. But with the Iris Estate, we wanted to go step back or step further. We wanted to find a terroir that can really express unique characters, and we can celebrate that terroir. So in 2017 is when we found this beautiful land. It sits at 1800 meters, goes all the way up to 2300 meters. Now this land was unprotected, was virgin forest. Coffee has not been grown there before. So our goal here was to adapt our green tip geisha and so many other varietals and some species into this amazing terroir, so we can enjoy these unique characters. We wanted to make sure that we're not disturbing this nature, but we are allowing our coffee trees to become part of the nature. So we planted less trees per hectare, we kept this shade, we highlighted and allowed these beautiful natural trees like Inga to provide with the nitrogen and to give different benefits to the coffee trees, so we can really enjoy this expression of Iris in the best possible way. Talking about aroma volatile compounds in coffee, I want to take a step back and also ask you, when you're smelling the coffees, and if you have a nose that's very blocked, you're probably not going to be able to taste much of the coffee. However, when you don't have a blocked nose, or when you're lucky enough to have a nose this size, you can taste a lot. So on a serious note, 80 to 90% of the flavors that we taste, we actually are tasting and smelling from the nose. So it's really important to understand that what we're smelling. We're actually smelling all of the different aroma volatile compounds. Now in a coffee, people say there's about 1,000 different volatiles. In a wine, they say there's about 400. But in a coffee we have measured, in a wash process coffee, it's usually about 80 to 90 that we could measure throughout the gas chromatography. And there's about 90 to 120 of the natural process coffees that's also measured through gas chromatography. So it's important that we know that we do not taste all of these aroma volatile compounds. We taste only the small percentage out of them. We usually would taste about 30, and we call them above threshold. So any aroma volatile that's big enough and significant enough to be able to give us the perception of the smell and the taste, it's what's above threshold. Everything else is below. So for example, when we're tasting the rose water, we're actually tasting aroma volatile compound that's most likely called beta-demascenon. So this beta-demascenon aroma volatile, it's very small, but on the high intensity, it gives us the perception of the rose water. This aroma volatile is very interesting because if it's sitting below threshold, we're not going to be able to smell much. When it sits a little bit above threshold, we can smell these beautiful rose florals. However, at a very, very high intensity, this aroma volatile compound will actually remind us of smoke. So yes, each aroma volatile compound can intensify with a particular flavor, but it can also change the flavor. Also, sometimes we need 2 or 3 different aroma volatiles to give us the particular taste that it reminds us of possibly blueberries, strawberries, etc. So aroma volatiles are very complex, but they're very fun. And the goal here is to see how we can enhance the particular aroma volatiles that are positively contributing the coffee on the farm level, on processing, roasting, as well as brewing. So now that we know basics of aroma volatile compounds, let's talk a little bit what we've done in the Iris Estate. I'd love to introduce you the Zurich University team that has supported us with the project, more particular Professor Chahan and Samo. So what we've done with them is we've actually sent different coffees from the wash process to so many different variations of carbonic maceration process, we sent the samples of the green beans and we shipped them to Zurich University. What they've done is they've tested the aroma volatile compounds out of the wash process coffee and all of the other ones. And what we wanted to find out is to see how many different aroma volatile compounds do we have, which ones are above threshold, and more importantly, which aroma volatiles are the most dominating one when it comes down to Iris terroir and also Geisha varietal. So these findings that we have learned about aroma volatile compounds, and please bear in mind that this is only the basics of aroma volatile compounds, what we know today. And I'm looking forward digging and learning so much more. But these findings now have allowed us to really understand what's the potential in the terroir. As I mentioned, usually when we process the coffees, we sometimes get flavors that we're surprised. Oh wow, we finally can taste, in this particular process, new strawberry note. But we don't necessarily know why we've tasted the strawberry note. But by having the very deep understanding about aroma volatile compounds of your coffee from your farm, your terroir, we can see which aroma volatile compounds are below threshold, which ones above threshold, and throughout the different processing, we can measure, have we moved some of the new aroma volatile compounds that were below threshold, so we can finally taste strawberry note. And then more importantly, throughout the different processes and different techniques, we can target that aroma volatile compound to be highlighted even more. I think this is really important for all of us, because when we taste coffee, us coffee professionals and coffee lovers, we can easier detect particular flavor notes. But even between us, we can go, oh, I'm tasting strawberry, but someone else is tasting possibly raspberry, etc. But by understanding the aroma volatile compounds more and knowing how do we grow them and how do we encourage them in the processing and also brewing, we'll be able to actually highlight these particular flavors in a lot better way, and we know exactly what we're looking for. So I believe the importance of aroma volatile compounds is great for all of us in the industry, and a really good key element that we can, with more confidence and building a more trust with our customers, that we can communicate these flavors knowing that people are going to have them. So there are 4 main aroma volatile compounds that we found in Iris that make this coffee what it is. So the very first one is called methyl ester, methyl propanol, ethyl acetate, and the another 4th one, we could not actually detect the name of this aroma volatile, but we could detect what it reminds us of. So it reminds us of rose florals, but the gas chromatography machine could not tell us exactly what aroma volatile it was. Hopefully in the future, when we do more testing and more studies, we'll be able to find out whether it's the new aroma volatile compound that was not discovered before, or possibly this aroma volatile compound was so small that this system simply could not find exactly what it is. We believe it's better than Macenon, but we're not sure. Now, what's exciting about these aroma volatile compounds is throughout the different processing techniques, we have moved the intensities of them. As you can see here on the graph, the gray line represents the wash process coffee Iris Estate, which is one of your illumination coffees. Now, the orange line represents the Ariel lot, and the blue line presents Enigma. And you can see that this particular aroma volatile, methyl ester, throughout the different processes, we managed to bring the intensity. What's exciting and what's interesting is when you taste the illumination lot, you probably won't be able to taste much of the methyl ester aroma volatile or this raspberry, strawberry flavors or candy notes, because that aroma volatile is below threshold. But with the Ariel, you're going to taste a little bit more. And with the Enigma lot, you're going to be able to taste a lot more. So the way we should be enjoying this beautiful box is, first of all, I would love you to make yourself a cup of Iris illumination. And if we start with this way, we're going to be able to see the flavors of the Iris terroir, Geisha varietal, in a way that flavors are progressing. Just like what I've showed here with the graph. As you can see here on the gray line, this gray line represents illumination. The orange line represents second coffee that we're going to be enjoying, which is Iris Estate Ariel lot. And you can see that we have managed to increase the intensity of these 4 aroma volatile compounds, but where we struck the gold with them and where we actually progress the flavor to the really high level is with this final coffee, which is Aris Estate Enigma. This has been my favorite coffee for the last 2 years. And you'll notice that we've managed to increase aroma volatiles, and in some cases up to 3 times with the Enigma. So for example, when we're tasting Illumination, yes, we're still going to taste florals, but not rose florals. We're going to be tasting the jasmine, white flowers, really nice, beautiful, gentle white florals. And as we progress with the coffee, this jasmine is going to start to turn into jasmine as well as the rose florals. And then here it's going to completely shift, where we're going to be enjoying the florals, but in the rose water way. So in my second video, I'm going to show you how to brew these coffees in the best possible way. Each coffee requires subtle differences, and I'm going to take you through them step by step so you can enjoy progression of Aris Estate flavors. In my third video, if you have a Paragon at home, we're also going to be using a Paragon as a feature to help to unlock even more aroma volatile compounds out of this amazing Aris terroir. So looking forward to seeing you soon.